If you have been worried about trying to find the right workout split, you have probably been focused on the wrong thing. For years, I would open YouTube and see everyone had a different opinion on what split to do. One person would be saying, do PPL. One person would be saying, do upper lower. One person would be saying, do full body. One person would just be saying, oh, just train hard, train old school, without even giving an actual answer. And eventually I realized I wasn't struggling because I couldn't find the right workout split. I was struggling because I was asking myself the wrong question. Everyone thinks finding the right workout split will give them the best results. But the best way to build long-term growth in the gym is not actually choosing the workout split that will build the most muscle. Longevity and consistency in the gym is the most important thing to actually making long-term progress. So, for example, doing a 100% optimal split, but only doing it for 3 months will give you far less progress than sticking with a 75% optimal split for 3 years. The program only matters if the person following it makes it work. There's a principle that I want to introduce, and that it's progress equals quality of work times consistency. But anything multiplied by 0 equals 0. So if you don't have long-term consistency, it doesn't matter how good your quality of work is, you won't make progress. The consistency doesn't come from the discipline that you are lacking. You won't need nearly as much discipline if you choose the right workout split, because you don't need discipline to do something that you genuinely enjoy. Because, for example, someone who loves basketball doesn't need discipline to go and shoot. And someone who loves lifting doesn't need discipline to get in the gym. That led me to ask myself a completely different question. Instead of asking, what's the most optimal workout split, I started asking myself, okay, what would actually make me excited to go and get in the gym, which will, again, yield the most long-term consistency. Most long-term consistency is going to lead to far more progress. Most people underestimate how important momentum and positive feedback is. So positive feedback, I just want to overview it in case someone doesn't for sure know. Positive feedback is when you're doing something and it reinforces doing that behavior again. That's a positive feedback loop. So for example, say you just got a new puppy, like I did. You want to train them, you want to teach positive feedback loops. So for example, I'm trying to teach her how to sit when I say sit, right? So I get her to sit, I like push her nose a little bit, I'll put the treat over her head so she's like instinctually inclined to move her hips down and sit. I give her that treat, I praise her, so then she's more inclined to do that again when I have that treat, and she builds that connection to thinking, oh, when he says sit, I'm gonna get a reward. So that's a positive feedback loop, because as we do it more, it reinforces that behavior to do it even more. So that's exactly what we need to take advantage of here. So one big thing is seeing yourself with a pump is a glimpse into the physique that you've been working for this entire time, ever since you started to be interested in lifting. Seeing yourself with a pump, with your muscles more filled with blood and you're more inflated and you look like you have more muscle. That's a window into what your physique will look like in the future. And lifting is one of the only, if you want to call it a sport, is one of the only sports that you are able to actually have that. And progress creates momentum and excitement. That's something you really need to, that's a principle I really want to get set in stone for this video. Right? I want you to imagine your dream physique and imagine what you are feeling. Like when you're sitting there, imagine it. What do you feel in your mind? And you're thinking about just the goals that you have achieved, and think about all the progress that you have made. What are you feeling? You probably feel a lot of excitement. You probably feel a lot of fulfillment. Again, that's going to create that positive feedback loop. Main thing, seeing yourself with a pump, because constantly, every single time that you get in the gym, if you're getting the pump and you're seeing what your future physique will look like, and you're seeing yourself getting closer to your goals, that's going to provoke that excitement and that momentum that creates that feedback loop for you to actually enjoy the gym. So how do you actually, take advantage of that and, get that pump so that you can actually get that excitement? I do want to make a disclaimer here. Chasing the pump is not the best way to build muscle, because a pump is essentially just blood flooded into your muscles, so they look bigger. But that doesn't mean that taking advantage of seeing yourself with that pump is not a bad thing to do. What you want to do is choose a workout split where you can hit a reasonable amount of muscles where you get a pump and you look good. So for example, my split, one of my favorite days is hitting arms and shoulders, because when you hit shoulders and you hit arms, your entire body is just wider like broader and bigger, and it just makes your physique look so much more well-rounded. And again, like I still have blood flowing to my chest, my back and stuff, so I still have a little bit of a pump there as well. It gives you that excitement that gives you a reason to come back to the gym. Now, another thing, exercise choice doesn't matter as much as you think, right? Exercise choice is not about doing the perfect exercise. It's just about choosing the exercises that you can progress in. Again, coming back to the idea that progress creates excitement and momentum, creates that positive feedback loop, makes you want to come back to the gym. And it's essentially harnessing the idea of being addicted to something. But again, it's in a healthy way. You're addicted to the gym, you're addicted to making your body healthier and improving your life. So again, you want to choose these exercises that you can progress in, because seeing yourself up the weight, up the reps, improving your form, and again, just making that overall progress within that exercise gives you more progress and more of a reason to keep coming back to the gym. So for example, one of my biggest strengths in the gym is benching. I mentioned at the start of the video, I bench 315, and I don't really bench much anymore. I've actually lost a little bit of strength, but that was such an addicting period of my life in the gym where it was just constant, even if I wasn't, PRing every week, because I usually tried to avoid that, it was constant enjoyment, and like I was so excited to go and bench because I knew that work was going to give me that result to eventually, get to 315, which I never even expected myself to hit. I never expected myself to hit 275, and I hit it, and it just turned a switch, and I was like, oh man, I can keep progressing like this. It's so addicting. I just couldn't stop getting back to the gym, which eventually, that consistency led me to hitting 315. Again, that overall consistency, overarching, seeing my physique improve. The more you want to go, more consistent you are. Again, progress equals quality of work times consistency. That was, a huge feedback loop, which is exactly what I'm trying to teach you and reveal to you here. So again, the overarching idea is that you want to make the gym an experience you want to return to. When you look at all these things together, they all point at the same thing, and that instead of optimizing for the fastest results, choosing the right workout split that everyone says is the most optimal, doing the right exercises that everyone says are the most optimal, optimize for making the gym a place that you look forward to going every single week, every single day, showing up, putting the work in, and being consistent, because in the end, that is going to yield you more results than if you were just going to the gym occasionally, not consistently, but you're still doing the 100% optimal program. If you aren't consistent, again, your progress isn't going to equal zero. Progress equals quality of work times consistency. And if you can't be consistent long term, even with the best program of all time, you won't make any real progress, and there is not any real point in putting an effort to try to find the most optimal split, the most optimal program, and the most optimal thing to do if, again, you can't have fun with the gym, you can't make it an enjoying time. That's all for this video. I hope it helped and provided value. This is probably one of the biggest things when it comes to the gym. I see, so many people worrying about trying to find the most optimal split. I had the same problem. Again, it's a big thing. Tons of people worry about. I really hope this video helped you be more decisive about that. Stick to a split you enjoy. Stick to doing exercises you enjoy. Make the gym a place where you can progress and have fun. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all the YouTube stuff, click the bell. Make sure to click on this video on screen about why progressive overload is not what you think it is. That's all I have for you, bro. Have a good one.